Over here, Harlan, I wanted to ask you, after a full game now, that triple option, are you basically happy to see it leave town at this point and kind of
what now? Say it again.
Just see it get out of town and
thank you,
move
thank
on.
God, right? Man, we focused on those guys from back in spring ball and then through fall camp, focused on them, and of course got to today. So thank God we're done with Air Force. Really good scheme, a tough scheme to prepare for, especially when you don't see it on a weekly basis.
Harlan, that kind of leads into my question. What do you really gain from this as a staff going into the next few weeks and into the rest of the season? Is it a thing that you just kind of throw away the tape right now, or are there things that you saw that you thought, well, yes, this is deficiencies that we need to work on?
Oh, absolutely. You're always going to watch the tape and see, areas where you can improve. And there will be some areas that we definitely feel like we need to improve on. One is finishing the game the proper way. So we definitely will watch and get something out of this game.
Coach Bollman, 77 yards of rushing. Obviously, they're a good defense, but did you expect them to be as stout at the line of scrimmage against your running attack like they were loading the box?
Well, they did a great job loading the box, and they were blitzing us pretty much every play. And I'm sure that we could have recognized some things better, could have blocked some things better, could have read some holes a little bit better. We have to improve, but did we expect it to be that tough? No. We'd like to have a little more balance on that, that we'd like to have a good deal of that. But thankfully today was a day we could throw the ball effectively at times when we needed to, and had we not been able to, it would have been tough.
Harlan, you guys have had, I think, 3 goal line stands now, or at least 3 inside the 10-yard line in the last 2 weeks. Are you starting to see things there that you really like? Is that becoming an identity when other teams get to the goal line?
We like to see the guys bow up down there and keep people out, not thinking, hey, well, we're just going to give up 3 or it's going to be a touchdown. So the mindset is good as far as that's concerned, and it's being built even more, having that type of success over the last couple of weeks, as you mentioned. But we don't. It's not good for the heart, though. So we don't want to have that happen too many more times this season.
Harlan, Andrew Dowell played just about the whole game there. Was that just a substitution or an injury? And then how did you think he did out there?
From the naked eye right now, I think he did a pretty decent job. He's a freshman. He had some things. We had made some adjustments on the sideline, and he made those adjustments and then was able to make plays and things of that nature. And Darian wasn't 100% healthy, so that's why you saw more of Andrew out there. And good experience for him. Good thing. It helps us.
Another injury-related question. Without Copeland today, how do you think the other guys did out there?
I think they did a good job. We know that they're not really a passing attack, so until the end there, but I think our guys did a pretty good job. And again, when you're just watching the game for the first time live and fresh, it's hard to come back. You really have to watch the film to get a true appreciation of how guys really did or not.
Jim, with all the blitzing you mentioned, how much did that open things up for Burbridge?
Well, obviously he had a pretty good day, from what I recall. Made some big plays, and he's made big plays all year, and hopefully you continue to do that. But certainly it did some, because they were in man coverage a lot of those times that they were blitzing. Some of them were all out blitzes, and granted it gave him a little bit more room than he might have had if they were sitting back there in zone stuff naturally.
Coach Barnett, one thing from me. Forcing the turnovers against the triple option turned out to be such a big part of this game. What sort of things were you looking for to kind of maximize those types of things?
Well, we talked about in our keys to victory on defense was to get turnovers. We've had a couple balls in the first couple of games that were on the ground as far as fumbles and didn't recover them. So we did put a premium emphasis on that as far as getting it done, and that was great to see RJ one up and score a touchdown. That guy, that ball finds him for some kind of way. He finds that ball, man, and that's awesome. That's awesome. But we did put an emphasis on it this past week, saying, hey, man, the ball's been on the ground. We need to get it and understand that. So I think the guys were more aware of it and just tried to put more into it, trying to get turnovers.
I know it's real early on this, but with Riley now being out for the first half next week, would that be possibly Reschke back to the mic for that first half and Fry?
That's a possibility, as well as Shane Jones is coming in there and being the backup. So we have to look at it and see how they practice throughout the course of the week, and we'll make a decision from there. But I'm sure some form of those three guys kind of rolling and filling in those positions we'll go with.
Harlon, can you talk a little bit more about RJ? Last week before the Oregon game, he kind of had a look about him, the way he carried himself and how he wanted to play, and it seems to have carried over into this week too. Can you just talk about how he's playing and maybe taking it up a notch because he is a senior?
Well, he's a guy, a fifth-year senior, one of many that we have on our defense that has played a lot of football for us around here, and he's a great leader in the defensive back room and on the defense, period, really on the team. And so he's seen a lot of different things. He understands the adjustments, the in-game adjustments, which are more important than anything, and being able to communicate them to the other players as well as to the coaches, what he sees and stuff like that. So hence you see him and his game going to another level because he's seen so much over his time here. And happy to have him on the team, man. He makes a lot of big plays. He's got a lot of touchdowns since he's been here.
Harlan, you want to win the game first, and you want, as a coach, to have things to work on and work with. Did this game provide both?
Absolutely. Number one, we did win the game. Sometimes when games end the way this game did, and even the Western game, the coaches were nuts. We should all be happy. We won, man. We won the game. But it's just tough, man. It's tough. You want to see us finish better and do a lot of things a lot better. And our players are like that too. And I guess if you want to call yourself an elite program, and that's how you think. You know what I mean? So we have standards that we want to live up to and play by, and our guys do too. So we got to go back to the drawing board on some things and get better.
Harlan, from a secondary standpoint, when you guys are facing so much run, and then they drop one pass on you, how do you, adjust? Is it a way to adjust, or do you just kind of go bend but don't break in that situation?
Well, we kept telling them over and over, and we knew even before the game started that, hey, it's going to get to a point where they're going to try to pass the ball a little bit, and so we have to maintain our eye control, our discipline, and unfortunately, even on the first one, that didn't happen. So all you can do is just keep coaching them and working them. You're working with 18 to 22, 23-year-olds, and we know how that goes. We all have been there at one time.
For Coach Bollman, can you just talk about just the stubbornness to run? Air Force is probably trying to get you to throw it up, air it out a lot. It looked like Michigan State was very determined to run the ball. Can you talk about the strategy behind that?
Well, when we're playing, it's a full team effort. And when we're playing the kind of offense that Harlan had to face, we didn't want to get back there and throw the ball every single play. You don't want to have a bunch of incomplete passes and that clock stopped. We did end up winning the possession time, I believe, and that was one thing that we talked about doing that we needed to do. Certainly not in the way that we did, but so. When you're sitting back there trying to call plays, it's hard though when we're not getting any kind of rhythm running the ball. That's not usually our situation, and but that was some of the thought behind that we weren't going to sit back there and throw it every single play, even though they were kind of begging us to. But there were times that we did obviously throw it successfully, which made the difference in the game for us. And another big thing for us was not to turn it over, which is always a constant.
Time for one more.